Girls were there today, so they were entertaining them.
We'll open it up for questions. Play at Missouri on Thursday on SEC Network. Hey, Mike, we'll get a mic to you.
Last time I saw,
Working?
check 1 2. We good? 1 2. Last time I saw you, you weren't a happy camper. You were upset about the starts and the finishes.
Well, I was pleased with the start at Kentucky. I was not pleased with the finish. In the fourth quarter, you knew when you were up 29 that they were just going to come throwing a lot of press at you, make it look ugly, trapping you. Didn't have Alexis majority of the game. She's not feeling well. So I thought Poa and KP handled everything throughout the game pretty darn good. But in the fourth quarter, we didn't. And I should not have put Lex back in. She kept tapping me on the shoulder, Coach, let me go back in. And I shouldn't have done that because she had turnovers when she went in. But it's a learning situation for those two without Alexis on the floor. And we will get in the film room today. We were off yesterday, and we will go over that fourth quarter, and then we'll get on the floor and work on the press break. And then we will start working on Missouri.
Yeah, Coach. First, any update on Alexis?
She just is not. All the tests are negative. She just doesn't feel good. Coughing, what we all get, coughing, and just, she could go, but I'm like, stay home, But everything's negative, just weak.
Yeah, and then Missouri obviously y'all had a great game with them here last year. Just what do you know about them and how you set?
I know what I saw last year, and they have 4 of their 5 starters back. They shot the ball uncharacteristically poor in their last outing against Arkansas, but they spread the floor on you. We're going to have to guard all 5 positions out there with the exception of one post that they have that doesn't go out there and shoot it. LaDeja, obviously, going back there, it'll be, different for her because that's where she's been playing. But we've got to understand that they're going to shoot the ball all over the floor.
Hey, Coach, Angel Reese, 16 straight double-doubles. How impressive has that been? I think that's the most to start a season in the SEC. How impressive has it been to watch her so far?
Well, I knew the very first practice we scrimmaged. Well, it wasn't the very first practice. It was the first inter-squad scrimmage. And I thought, I may need to take her off the floor after about 3 minutes because nobody could stop her. And I thought, this kid is a beast on the boards, and I've got to build up the confidence of a lot of these players, and yet she still needs to practice and get in shape. But I saw it the very first inter-squad scrimmage. I see it every day. She's playing extended minutes. She's never played this many minutes before because she would always get in foul trouble. So I think she's more disciplined. She sees every defense imaginable, and yet she's still one of our assist leaders. She's going to look for the open player. It's impressive. I don't care who you play. She's capable of doing that every game.
Back to my original question: is it a maturity thing? Just play through. You mentioned you want to be a championship team. You got to conduct yourself in a certain way, regardless of what the scoreboard says. Is that what you're really kind of coaching right now?
Well, I thought the fourth quarter was more of maybe a little fatigue. Poa and KP had not played that many extended minutes together. I thought it was coaching. I'll start with me. When people are pressing, I looked up and we had post players throwing the ball in. That's not what we do, but we haven't seen that all year. So now it gives us something else to work on. I looked up and Angel Reese said, give me the ball. She's bringing the ball up the floor and running point guard and telling them to come set her picks. Well, we don't do that, but she's that kind of player.
Kim, to be clear on Alexis, you said stay home. Is she going to make the trip?
No,
okay.
I just meant today.
Today,
just
okay.
Stay home. Don't come to practice. We'll potentially hook her up in the film room and let her, listen to the scouting report and who she's going to guard. And but she just felt puny. So the best description I can give if you know what puny means in the country. You just feel puny today.
And are you expecting to see a lot of pressing, full court pressing
No.
on Thursday?
The only reason you saw that was because the score was a 29-point difference. Your identity is usually established by now, and we always prepare for presses, but that was not your 1-2-1-1 or your 2-2-1. It was just go trap, go move, go do something, make something happen. It was kind of out of control, and we were out of control in attacking it.
Kim, if you recall your first memory of Seimone, and I know she's accomplished a lot, but what may be your favorite memory when you think of her and all she may have done in your eyes in her career?
Well, I didn't have the pleasure of coaching her. My teams played against her. My first memory of Seimone Augustus was when she was at Capitol High School, and we tried to recruit her when I was at Louisiana Tech. So meeting her and her family when they came to Louisiana Tech. Very quiet, unassuming, talent, very humble, soft-spoken. That was my first memory of her. Then playing against her, I have memories of her dominant team here, her dominance as a player here, and then lastly was how in the world do I guard her? So that's when we went to that 3-2 in the national semifinals. We were down 15 at half, and just such a talent. So deserving of the statue. She stayed at home. She's a Baton Rouge girl that stayed at home, and she accomplished so much in her career at LSU, but then what she went on to do in the pros and in the Olympics. She's never forgotten where she comes from. Her parents come to our games. Bob Starkey will do all of the talking. I will be in the background because he got to coach her, and he got to be here during that era when women's basketball was so good and so dominant. And so I'm just happy for her. I'm happy for our program. I'm happy for LSU, and I'm happy for Louisiana.
If I could ask you about Michaela Williams, since we went up there on Friday, following up Seimone, the #1 player in the country in Louisiana. I don't know if that's happened since Seimone. Maybe it has. But if you can speak about her a little bit. And Gary Reed is today. I talked to him, and he said the first thing you told him, #1, #2, #3 things we have to do is keep Michaela in Louisiana.
It feels funny being able to talk about her. All these years, you can't talk about recruits till they sign, and now I can talk about her. The first thing I think about when I think about Michaela is her family. Her family. And her mom and dad, they played at Northwestern. Her grandmother lives in Lake Charles. The other grandmother lives in Little Rock. She's a family type of kid. And when I got to know her while I was at Baylor, I just know from Louisiana, it's hard to get those Louisiana folks that are close to their family out of the state, but I was sure determined to do it when I was at Baylor. And then when I got here, I had to flip the switch and say, this is why you're staying at home. And the thing I said to Michaela and her parents, you're too good a talent for me to bring you to LSU without good players to play with. Just give us a chance this first year, watch and see what we do with the players that we inherited, talking about last year, come to games, watch. And then watch and see what we do in recruiting. Because I don't want you to come and be the savior. I want you to come, and I want players to want to come and play with you. And it just started snowballing with the wins. She would come to one game and come to another one. She'd bring she'd come with her entire high school team, and I just think she thought, this is home. They're going to be good. and I can help them get to where they want to go. And that's how it turned out. And she's physically college ready. If you look at her body, she can play 1 through 4 positions on the floor for you. And I really love her game at multiple positions, so I don't know where I'm going to put her. All I know is she can play. And she's just strong. And her focus now, and I tell her this all the time, is not the purple and gold in LSU. Your focus needs to be at Parkway. You need to focus and get you a state championship.
In football, they can't get all the players in the state, but basketball, when one player makes such a big difference, I mean, are those the things that hurt 100 times more if she's leading Duke to the Final Four or stuff like that in terms of you keeping your talent in state in Louisiana?
I think you're right in that you can't keep everybody if you've got a huge squad like you do in football. I think basketball numbers are different. We have 15 scholarships. What you do is you start close to home, and then you work yourself out regionally, and then you work yourself out nationally. Who's connected to people in the state? Who, wants to play in the SEC? What would attract a recruit to come play at LSU? Obviously with her, this is her home. This is her home state. And that's not the only reason she came. She'll tell you that. She wants to win. And she has played against, she knows Flagey, and she's played against some recruits that we're getting, and she's just special. She's smart, homecoming queen. She's leaving her mark on Parkway High School.
You have a small sample size so far, but what's your sense of the SEC right now? There's 2 teams in the top 5 and not anything else in the top 25. Arkansas getting those, but are you seeing the SEC being better than what's represented in the top 25?
Well, I'm always going to promote the league we're in, but I'm going to be a realist. We lost a lot of great seniors last year. Teams throughout the SEC lost a boatload of seniors. And so when you have to kind of reload with youth, you may see nobody ranked. That doesn't mean the SEC is down. It just means it's kind of revolving this year, where you're going to see a lot of schools that are normally ranked maybe not be ranked because they've got to reload with some underclassmen.
Yeah, Coach. Jasmine had a rough shooting start to conference play. Just how do you go about continuing to, give her confidence and just
You
get
don't
her out of
talk
the
about it. Shooters keep shooting. Shooters go through that. I think what happens sometimes, they want to rush a shot and they want to take a shot that's not really a good shot, and I just tell her, just relax. Just relax. And keep shooting. Make sure it's good shots. And do other things in the game. Defend and rebound. And don't let your shooting affect other parts of your game.
Hey, Coach, what can you tell us about Angel Reese, the student athlete, the person off the court?
Well, I think Angel Reese has matured. I think she has a few instances with her history that people want to judge her from. I don't. I judge her from the time she walked on this campus and what I've gotten out of her. I think that she wants to lead. She wants to win. I think she makes her teammates better. And I'm just glad she's on my team. And we've got the chance to have her for a couple more years.
You're in this era now where players are going up against former teams and teammates, which is new, I guess. What do you tell LaDeja? Is it don't try to do too much? It's kind of hard to treat it just like another game. When she was there 4 years before she came here.
Yeah, she's a graduate of Missouri. You don't overemphasize it. The way I would approach it, and probably going to approach it, is I'll cut up with her. I'll say, "Ooh, those kids on that front row are going to give you holy hell when you get there, girl." And she's very quiet. She'll just smile. She knows and respects those players she played with. She didn't leave on bad terms. She had graduated, saw an opportunity to come play for me. She was friends with Taya Cooper. Taya Cooper transferred to me at Baylor. She and LaDeja both were freshmen at South Carolina together. And so they both left South Carolina and remained friends. And I think what the interest was with LaDeja coming to play for me was Taya Cooper telling her, I played for that woman for a year, and what she does with post players, you might want to go check it out. Give her a call. And it's not a knock on Missouri. I think it was style of play. Missouri is just lights out shooters, and LaDeja is a post player.
Time for a couple more questions.
Kim, Samaya's defensive style, has it gotten to a point where just kind of the expectation is 3-4 blocks a game every time she's on the floor every night, or just talk about how she's been able to come in and really kind of affect the game?
Well, Seimone is quiet. I want her to, and she will, open up more, talk more. Her mannerisms are deceiving because she's thin-built, she doesn't take up a lot of space, she doesn't talk a whole lot, and you may think you can go up and shoot it on her, but she's such a quick jumper, such a quick jumper. She is learning to defend out on the three better, which this day and time, as a post player, you're going to have to do that a lot. Her physicality is getting better just from being in the weight room. She is having a very quiet but very productive freshman year. She really is.
Last question back there.
Just about Seimone, you talked about having to defend her. Could you kind of talk about her dribble drive game, I guess, and just what made her such a unique talent at that time?
Well, I've got to think now. I'm going against her, so Bob Starkey could probably tell you in detail her game. I just know that she just, in my memory bank of playing against her, she could just take you off the dribble once or twice and just stop and pop. There aren't many girls, even today, that have what you call just a jump shot. Now, while she's not going to leap out of the gym and just wow you with that, it's how she would come and just get her shot off, no matter who was guarding her. Face up, Simone's 6'2"? I don't even know what she's listed as, but she was like a Cheryl Miller in my era, that they were face up basketball players. That people didn't just put them down there on the block because they were 6'2" and say post up. They just changed the game in that I'm not a post player. I'm more of a 3/4 player. And, she's just a winner. She's just a winner. I mean, we went to the 3-2 in the second half, y'all. And y'all know I'm not a zone coach, but thank goodness we had worked on it a little bit because we had played them earlier in the year. And it got down to one possession earlier in the year. And I thought, well, if we're going to get embarrassed on national television, here's where you go. And I basically, in the 3-2, said, Seimone is going to run the baseline and try to take this shot. You wait right there and just maybe make her take that shot just maybe a foot further out. Might work. Then I took two guys up at the top and I said, keep Tamika Johnson out of the paint. When she goes to drive, close it off. Then you had to worry about backside rebounding with fouls. And so you assigned those other two. And you say, when that shot goes up, both of you find her. It wasn't this genius coaching, but it was a matter of desperation that was the only way we were going to ever have a chance. And came back and won it. And what a talent. Just what a talent. I would have loved to have coached her.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.